Yeah, this is Matt. Once again, welcome back to another video. This is a request from a nice guy named Tony, and that is Doom from 2005. I reviewed this many years ago, and I know there's the new Doom movie coming out, Doom Annihilation, which looks like it costs $2. I don't know why it made me think of that kid. What was it, Better Off Dead? $2! I want my $2! Yeah. People paid $2 for the budget for that fucking film, want the $2 back after that trailer where the woman is smaller than the gun she's carrying. And the only good thing that will come out of that film is I think this film will get a little bit more leeway. Now, I saw this in the theater when it came out in 2005. I enjoyed it. I still enjoy it to this day. It's not a perfect film. It's not the penultimate Doom movie. It's not the definitive Doom movie. I think it can still be made with a mix of hardcore Henry, fast-paced, 80 minutes, tons of action, and tons of different kinds of monsters. You could do it on a low budget because there's these low-budget films called Hotel Inferno, and in particular, Hotel Inferno 2. Hell, type in Hotel Inferno 2, I think someone still has it uploaded online. Someone made a very kind of a Doom movie with a tiny budget. If they can do it, if you had a budget to these even medium-sized movies, I think you have something. Hardcore Henry didn't cost a lot. Hardcore Henry costs like $5 million or less. So you can make a definitive Doom movie, so I don't know why they gave it a second try and they're still fucking up. But why do I like this film? First off, the gripes. Because the plot is simple. Mercenaries, these Marines, they go into action. They have a task to go to this remote research station on Mars. One of the scientists is the sister of our lead character, Karl Urban, who's nicknamed Reaper. The Rock is Sarge, who's leading this group. Like I said, you have Karl Urban in the group. You have this, I forget his name, but he was in a small part in Mandy. He's been in a couple Rob Zombie films. He plays the asshole of the group. I thought he was pretty entertaining. I thought the whole cast did a good job, honestly. I don't have any problems with the cast. But the three problems with the film. Number one, not enough action. Too much cat and mouse, looking through the dark, cat and mouse, slow build-up. Doom doesn't need to be a slow build-up. It was trying to do a take on Doom 3, but people prefer Doom 1 and 2. Not Doom 3. I love the Doom 3 game, but when people want to see a Doom movie, they want to see the first two games. Or the Doom 2016, they want to see that as a movie. I can understand that. And I like the Doom video games. I played them back on Super Nintendo, the original Doom. So I enjoy the games. But yeah, it needed to have more action. Like I said, took too much time searching through the dark, which fucked with the pacing of the film. Number two, more monsters. That's a given. You do get some nice additions from the game. You have, yes, zombies, but they remind me of the possessed people in the games, except they didn't have shotguns. That would have been fun if they were shooting shotguns at our heroes and pistols. You do have the imps. You do have the Hell Knights. You do have Pinky. So you had a couple on there, which I thought looked pretty damn good. I thought the CGI for 2005 standards were fairly decent. And I love the practical effects, but I didn't get into my problems. Number one, needed more action. Number two, it needed more monsters. Number three, the hell thing. I like what they did, but again, for the audience, just give them the simple gateway to hell. It's a portal to hell. Just give them that. Give the audience what they want. But this is one of those times where if you change this title to something else, I don't think it would be as hated as it is nowadays. It's kind of like how I feel about the Godzilla 1998 and Halloween 3 and an assortment of other movies, where I enjoy this as an R-rated monster movie. This is something that as a kid I would have loved searching the video stores in the 80s, early 90s. And this is something they don't make nowadays. You don't have a lot of R-rated action horror monster movies where they actually have makeup effects, practical effects. I think Stan Winston's group worked on this. I could be wrong. And there's enough check boxes this film makes that I do think it is a good film. I don't think it's a good Doom film. I do think it's a good R-rated monster film. Now, what check boxes do I mean? Like I said, I love the cast. The Rock, he's playing someone different, which is refreshing considering all the similar stuff he does nowadays. Where he plays the same character here, it's a little bit different. He becomes a villain. He goes a little bit crazy. He's not making a joke every 5 minutes. There's like a handful, and I liked them. I liked the lines. You'll super fine, motherfucker. I like that line. But for the most part, he's playing the role seriously. And so, again, watching him in San Andreas and Rampage and Skyscraper, it's very refreshing to see him play a different little bit of role. I know some people were mad that he wasn't the lead, but I was fine with that because I really like Karl Urban. In fact, I kind of look at it as this was his trial for Dread. Not only to be in an R-rated action film, but I think it'd be funny if the character, like the origin of Dread, he was Reaper. I was a Marine once and I went to Mars and fucked up shit happened, so I retired and became a cop. That'd be funny. But Karl Urban, I think, is an underrated actor. I like him in Pathfinder. I like him in this movie. I liked him when he was in that film Red with Bruce Willis. I think he's a really good actor, underrated, great Dread, and he's one of the shining points to me in this. I love him in the lead role. I think has a good presence. He's a fine actor, and it was easy to root for him. And that's what I would need. I need a lead character to root for, and Karl Urban fits the bill. The rest of the cast, I thought, did fine. This rookie guy, he wasn't too annoying, he wasn't too irritating. He did just fine. Rosamund Pike as the scientist who's the sister of Karl Urban's character, she did fine. So I think the cast is good. Number 2, the score. I think the score by Clint Mansell, who I think was with Nine Inch Nails, fit the film like a glove. Love the score. I think it's a damn solid score, actually. Number 3, they had a budget behind it. I thought the cinematography, the lighting, and the sequences in the dark, and there's some blue lighting, and I thought it didn't look cheap, it didn't look fake, it didn't look phony, it didn't look like it cost $10 or $2 like the new Doom movie. It's a competently filmed, cinematography-wise, look-wise. I thought they did a really good job with that. Number 3, the practical effects I think are outstanding. I love the practical effects. There's a good chunk of practical effects. There's imp creatures. You see the Hell Knight in all its form, done for real. When it's fighting this guy, I think the character's name was Destroyer, in this pit, and he's fighting back. He's swinging this thing, smashing in the face with this like computer monitor, or whatever. I forget what it is, like a TV, and then it has this big pipe and shoving it against the Hell Knight. He's being electrocuted by the stuff on the walls, and he's just bashing it and breaking it in half. I'm like, wow, it's a monster fight with a big Bill Duke looking motherfucker and this big old Hell Knight. I thought that was cool. You don't get that nowadays, sad to say. You really don't. The first person shooter sequence I think is phenomenal. It was a nice taste for what we'll see in a film like Hardcore Henry. And that's what I mean. We got our first taste. I honestly think they should have done a Doom 2, have Karl Urban return, come up with some bullshit. He wants to know what happened to his parents because there's a little bit about the research facility in the past, his parents. Or he's doing Aliens, or do The Collection, which I know there's news they're doing The Collector 3, which I hate because it'll undo the greatness of the ending to the second film. I don't look for The Collector 3, but nothing I can do about it. But where he's forced, people force him to do that. They get the drop on him, they force him, the shit hits the fan. Either he's the last one there and he can't go back, he's got to go forward. There's plenty of ways you can do it. People wanted to see the Hell Dimension. You don't see it in this. I can't blame people for not liking the film as a Doom movie. I can perfectly understand. As a film on its own, I do enjoy it, though. I like some of the bits of violence. For example, there's a guy in a wheelchair, and the Hell Knight picks the fucker up and like bam, slams it. Almost similar to what Hulk would do to Loki in the Avengers, which came out a few years after this film. But this is not as cartoonish, because the Hulk did it like 50 times. Here it's like boom, and then he uses it, and the wheels of the wheelchair hit someone in the face. I think actually Karl Urban in the face, which is where he gets this mark. I'm like, ooh, shit. And this is poor sumbitch in the wheelchair. He's just fucking up and then drives away. Moments like that, like, oh, shit, like, made me clap. I didn't literally clap, but in my head I did. I do think the beginning is a decent setup. The scientists getting info, and the doors breaking open, and you see a shadow, and it cuts away. Oh, okay, that's a nice tease. We don't see it fully. You teased us. And then the way the Doom tiles come up, and again, these characters, which are caricatures, but I expect that, in a way, prefer that in this kind of movie. Not looking for Shakespeare or Oscar caliber stuff. And like I said, the score by Clint Mansell fits the film like a glove. As it keeps going, it is bogged down, like I said, where they get there. There's a lot of cat and mouse chase in the sewers, in dark places. A little bit of gunplay, but people are getting bored. Should have ratcheted the action and drilling it up. So I can't blame people for that. I perfectly understand. But again, enough check boxes were filled in, and I thoroughly enjoyed the second half of the film, where the shit starts hitting the fan. The asshole of the group gets pulled from the bathroom up into the ceiling. Like I said, the poor sumbitch in the wheelchair gets fucked up and dragged away. The Rock turned more into a bad guy, which was, I thought, an interesting choice. Interesting different role for The Rock. Karl Urban being very strong in the lead role. Character that's easy to, like I said, root for. The thing that they did with Hell I thought was an interesting idea. Maybe you should not put it in a Doom movie, but I like the idea on the flip side. Where this thing that's, I don't know if I call it a virus, but this thing, this enzyme, this something is put into you, and whether you're a good or a bad person depends how you change into. If you're a bad person, you change to a demon. If you're a good person, you change to a Superman. Which, in a way, if you play the Doom games, you would have to wonder how this Doom guy become a Superman. Because he can, I mean, that's because it's a game. But how do you put that into a movie? I thought that was kind of a nice way of doing it. And that's why Karl Urban can sustain and do crazy things. That's why there should have been a Doom 2. But this film bombed critically and commercially. And like I said, I love the first-person shooter sequence. It was satisfying. The fight he has with the pinky creature, which is the wheelchair guy turned to a monster, and he's fighting it with a chainsaw. That was a lot of fun. That was really satisfying. And throughout the first-person shooting imps, fucking up Hell Knights, blowing them up. He has a fight with The Rock, which I enjoyed the fight. It has some fun one-liners, simple but effective. Like the kid said, go to hell. Throws a grenade, fucks up The Rock, so he becomes the Croc. Doesn't end on a downbeat note, doesn't end on a sequel bait note. And like I said, the look of the film, the cinematography, the score, the practical effects, the monsters, the R rating, the cast, the action we do get, I thought each of those were done well enough that for me it overcomes the flaws. It doesn't do that with everyone else, but for me it does overcome the flaws. Like I said, it's not the definitive Doom movie. You can still do that. That's why, again, I don't know why they're making a shitty direct-to-video $5 horror of a Doom Annihilation. I don't understand why. You look at the flaws, you keep what's good. Karl Urban, the score, Clint Mansell, the practical effects, that team Again, I think it was Stan Winston's team. I can't remember. You keep that, and then you go, okay, they want more action, put more action. They want to see hell, have the plot. They go to hell. Or it goes from the base to hell, or hell to the base, or how you want to word it. Okay, have this monster and this monster and this monster. There you go. It's not that fucking hard to do, folks. It's not that hard to be like, okay, this is what worked, this is what didn't, keep the stuff that worked, change the stuff that didn't work. But apparently I'm the crazy one. Overall, I think this is one of the better video game movies, because while it's not definitive, it's not embarrassing in the slightest. And as an attempt of them doing a take on Doom 3, I get a bit more where they're going with, especially after playing Doom 3, which I love that video game. Doom 3 was a lot of fun to play. So that's not the direction they should have gone in, but I can understand what they did, and there's a lot of aspects I appreciate. And I thought the film looked great on Blu-ray as well. It looked very nice in HD. But considering so many other films, video game movie-wise, regular movie-wise, even I didn't hate A Quiet Place, but I'd rather watch this at A Quiet Place. You know, I think of like monster movies nowadays. I had enough fun with this that I was satisfied, I was entertained. I just still watch it for what it is. That's my take on it. Be the way. Thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.